Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Destruction Derby. I'm standing in the middle left position playing as the Soviets. So this is quite a unique map. What we've got, for those of you who don't know, is there's lots of ore patches around the map, but then in the middle of the map there's an island of gems, and anyone who gets on the island of gems is going to have a really good economy. The only thing is that island of gems, if someone gets on it, everyone else is going to want to attack that player, especially in a free-for-all match, and we do have quite a few good players, and we can see Green Guesty is in the bottom left-hand corner, it looks like, because I've just seen a green infantry guy going up there, and a couple more there, so I'm just going to get these infantry around my base, try and get a bit of a surround, just make sure they don't get in, and get any visibility on what I'm doing. So yeah, we can see, and I'm pretty sure Green is going to be at the bottom there, and there's a couple of infantry there, just killing my scout there, because he obviously doesn't want me to see what he's doing. But I have got some decent visibility, and we can see Brown Puddle now in the middle on that bridge. So going straight for the gem patch, just to see if any other players are there, because I'm sure if a player was there, Brown Puddle would be attacking them straight away. And that's sort of why I did scouting there as well, because I wanted to see if anyone was there as well. And there's a red infantry, he's got through my defences and he's going round that lake, so thankfully he's probably got like a little bit of visibility but not too much visibility on my base. And now I'm getting my first ore truck out of my war factory, and I'm going to be getting onto this second ore patch here. So getting my second ore refinery there, and now that I've got my second ore truck, I'm going to go for my second war factory, because I will be having a decent building speed for tanks now, and now that I've got 4 ore trucks mining, I should be able to hopefully maintain production. However, I'm going to need to expand to more ore patches, and you can see I've got like 2 ore trucks on one ore patch, 2 ore trucks on the other, and I'm going to be expanding to the ore patch to the left of my base. You can just see my infantry really close to that patch there. And now that I've got that war factory out, I'm going to have a faster building speed for my tanks, and just getting my infantry to the left slightly, and going to be getting that third ore refinery, and I'm constantly having a look like in that middle position, because if a team does go on those gems, I am going to need to respond. The only thing is I need to try and respond to what's happening below me first of all, because if I leave my base at all, I'd leave myself very exposed for Green to go on the attack. And just I've seen those group of infantry there, and we managed to squash them with our tanks, so getting some good value there. I can see Green though, and I can see the mining that ore patch below my base. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going in now. We can see Green with 3 light tanks and 1 medium tank. It doesn't look like his tank numbers are too great though. Maybe he's gone full TMCV, I don't know. But now my heavy tanks are coming in, taking out those light tanks pretty quickly. Those 3 light tanks are now down, and now we're going to take out that ore refinery. And we can see he does have quite a few ore trucks and a couple of ore refineries there. So definitely, yeah, going for an economic approach. But now my heavy tanks are in, and his medium tanks are falling pretty quickly, and my heavy tank numbers are just going to build and build. And now taking out that ore refinery, just so his economy is going to be hurt a lot. And now we're on those war factories, where we can see that he's going for my base. So I'm going to get another war factory out there, and I'm going to get my construction yard away, so undeploying it there, and I'm going to try and get these heavy tanks up. But let's see, has he noticed where it's going? He has, and he's following it. The question is he going to be able to destroy that MCV, or am I going to be able to keep it alive? It's going to be quite close. I'm trying to take my MCV back there, and made a little bit of a mess of that. Just trying to get it through those heavy tanks, and trying to just destroy those medium tanks. It looks like it's going to be very close. It's on very low HP, and those medium tanks are coming around, and it looks like I might just manage to keep it alive. So that was very, very close. And now we can see that Green's MCV is there also. And I'm wondering if he had the same idea as me to hide his MCV up on the middle left position. That was possibly the idea, but now we are going to go and attack the rest of his base and find that missing MCV. And now that I've deployed that, I'm going to be able to start repairing the MCV there and taking out that barracks in case he starts producing infantry and goes on another charge for my MCV. And you can see those ore trucks now trying to block my ore refinery and hamper my economy. But I'm just going to take these heavy tanks back and we're going to be able to destroy these ore trucks no problem. So I think his MCV has got away somewhere, so I'm not quite sure where it is at the moment. And as I say that, we see his MCV heading up to the top left of the map. So his MCV is going up there. The question is, does he have the resources to build a ore refinery or anything like that? We'll have to wait and find out. But I've got another MCV out of my war factory. Now that I've got a couple of MCVs, I'm going to have a faster building speed. It always helps in a free-for-all if you get the person who's closest to you out. You can get that extra MCV, and it just really does make a difference. Just waiting for that ore truck or refinery to be produced. And the thing is, what I'm experiencing now is just a little bit of my economy is not quite good enough. So I do need to improve my economy, get some more ore refineries out, get the funds in, and then I'll be able to utilise that faster building speed. So just focusing on my base right at the minute, and now getting that extra ore refinery in, next to that other construction yard, sort of like away from everything else. It's sort of like tucked in a safe position. Of course, Guesty knows where it is, but other players won't. And I haven't seen anything from Guesty in terms of ore refineries and ore trucks coming down, so hopefully I'm going to be okay. I might need to send something up there, but just sending that tank there just to have a little bit of an investigation. But even if he has something like up at the top of the map, it's not like he's going to have like that big of a base. So I'm going to be getting much better production down here. And now I'm just expanding further down the map and going to that ore patch that Guesty was on earlier. So just getting some ore silos through there just so I can place an ore refinery right next to it. And just getting that tank now just to go up a little bit further because I don't want any surprise attacks, that's the thing. And now getting another ore refinery. And what I'm going to be able to build now that I'm sort of like building my economy up a little bit is a radar dome. And we can see that Brown Puddle is in the middle of the map. And this is quite urgent. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to start putting pressure on him. This is really important because if you let the person in the middle just have free reign, they're going to be collecting gems and they're just going to get so far ahead it's going to become really impossible to beat them. So we're going to go on the attack. We've also got Take You Down, which I think has been fighting against them, and what we're going to go for now is a bridge, and we've destroyed that. And you see some of his ore trucks now trapped on that gem island. We're not going to be able to go to an ore refinery, but now we've got Brown Puddle. He's got heavy tanks there just like me, and let's see how this fight turns out. We do seem to have the better tank numbers at the moment. We've managed to take out one of those ore refineries and done some damage to his economy, so that'll be a real blow to him. And it depends, is he fighting elsewhere? But now we can see more and more heavy tanks are starting to come in, and suddenly it seems like my number of tanks may not be quite good enough. It looks like we're going to need to pull back because that orange number of tanks just seems to grow and grow and grow, and I'm in big trouble now. So trying to go back to my base, I'm getting another war factory because I've got quite a lot of funds in, and I'm going to need to try and build some Tesla because Tesla and tanks together is pretty strong. But now you can see he's finished off most of my tanks. But I do have a decent building speed, so at least we're going to be able to pull him back a little bit into the range of that Tesla. And let's see if that Tesla can do anything. But he's going for it straight away, and that Tesla has low HP, so it goes down quite quickly. But quite a lot of those tanks now are on red HP, so at least I'll be able to take them down relatively quickly. But getting another Tesla down there, and it seems like I'm in a bad situation at the moment. He's right in my base and doing an awful lot of damage. It's just so hard when someone gets a tank advantage, but we can see all those tanks there, there's so many on red HP, and some of them going down, and those numbers are now starting to fall as he takes out a construction yard. At least I've got the construction yard hidden though in the left position, because now he seems to be going for like war factories, for construction yards, for anything that's going to be linked to production, and now going for another war factory. I'm just trying to repair it, but as I repair in buildings and he goes for other buildings, I'm able to whittle down his tank numbers, and you can see he hasn't got so many left now. And just trying to get another war factory produced, which is going to be a little bit out of the way, so I'm still able to produce some tanks. and just focusing on replacing those buildings that have gone. But now he's getting some more reinforcements coming in from his base, and now I'm losing my radar dome as well. And it looks like he's seen that extra war factory because obviously the tanks are coming from there. He's trying to go in there now, but it's sort of like in a bit of a stuck position in a way because those tanks are a little bit trapped, so we're going to be able to take them out quite easily. It was a bit narrow in there, and that war factory surviving, and I'm just getting a second war factory going down, and Brown Puddle is out of the game. So what I think happened is he got attacked from the other side of his base, and that makes sense because if you go for the middle, yes, you do get a massive advantage of getting all those gems, but you also take this big risk, and that big risk is you're going to get attacked by multiple players. And now we can see that yellow is starting to get units in different places. And we see a lot of infantry in our base. So he's definitely been able to do some scouting and take out some of our buildings at the bottom while we were preoccupied with Brown Puddle. So now it's a three-way battle. There's me, there's Take You Down, and there's also Red, who's sort of a little bit of an unknown player. So we don't know how quite good he is. But now we can see that red army coming at the bottom of my base. And that looks quite menacing. I've got a yellow army at the top. I've got a red army at the bottom. So it's quite hard to know what I'm going to do at this point in time. I do wonder, is he going to bring an MCV over? Because I could have like a red... Well, we're all playing as Soviets, everyone who's left in, so he's going to have Tesla coils and stuff like that, but that yellow army at the top of my base is even bigger than the red army, so yeah, I'm sort of like trapped at the moment. I can't expand north, I can't really expand south, so I'm a bit stuck. I'm going to be getting that extra war factory though. I think that's my third war factory, just to get that faster building speed. I'm also going to be rebuilding some of those construction yards, because what I want to get is I want to make sure I'm able to get some Tesla down, because when that yellow army comes in, I don't want to just be fighting with tanks, because they've got a larger army. I need Tesla in there as well, just to help me a little bit. So now I'm just selling that ore refinery because that's going to go down, and now when we pull him back, hopefully we're going to get him in the range of the Tesla, and that Tesla will help do some damage and maybe equalise the tank numbers a little bit, because yeah, you can just see that tank army is menacing. And I'm going to I've got some Tesla back now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl slowly forward, because we can just see that Yellow's base is expanding, and now the tanks are falling back, and we're sort of going to do a power plant and Tesla crawl just to try and push Yellow back as far as we can. And our army numbers are going to be sort of replenishing at the time. We've got 3 war factories, so that's going to be quite good for us. And now we're getting closer to that yellow base and those yellow tanks, and now he's starting to engage. Let's see how this battle goes. We do have the better tank numbers, but he's got some Tesla helping him in the background. I've got some Tesla as well though, and it looks like I've definitely got the better tank numbers. I don't know if he's having a fight back in his base, but it looks like we're probably going to be able to take this outer base. And I've got two Tesla there, and they're providing some real support. But now we can see the red is coming further up to the north of the map. I'm just going to leave some tanks back here though, and try and take out those buildings, especially those ore refineries, which are going to be using up that ore, and also giving Yellow more resources for tanks. We can now see Yellow bringing more tanks in. We've taken out another Tesla coil, but those yellow tank numbers are starting to build, and all I'm trying to do is get rid of all of these structures. So that Tesla goes down, and finally we've got rid of quite a lot of these, and those red tanks just seem to be sitting there at the moment, so I'm going to be focusing more on the top of the map. I'm just having a bit of a look at there to see if those yellow tanks are going to follow us, because we do have 2 Tesla there, but I can't leave the Tesla on the road, else they will be destroyed pretty easily. So I'm sort of like torn between positions now. Do I defend at the top, or do I defend at the bottom? That's a big question. It seems like those red tanks tend to be a little bit more stationary. The yellow player does seem to be more active, and now the yellow player comes in, and you can see what I mean about those Tesla having low HP, getting taken out very, very quickly. They are quite weak on their own when they don't have tanks defending them. Now it's a tank battle. It's heavy tank v heavy tank, and let's just see if we can micro a little bit better. It does look like I have the better tank numbers, so hopefully I'm going to be able to get a good trade here and just try and move my tanks around as much as possible and lose as little as possible. And we've managed to destroy quite a few heavy tanks there, yellow heavy tanks, and you can see he's back to building a base in that top middle position once again. But once again, we're going to try and take it out. I just need to take out those tanks first, and now we're going to get rid of that ore refinery and take out that large power plant as well, and construction yard. And yet again, we managed to deny him of that point. The thing is, we've got those ore trucks there still mining, but they're going to be long distance mining because they're going to have to travel right back to his main base. And while we're here, we're going to destroy them. But now we've got more yellow tanks coming in, but yellow is pulling back once again. I think he realises that at this point he's not going to be able to win the battle. I've just got too many tanks up at this top part, and he's going to have to possibly group them up. But now those yellow tanks seem to be grouped, and we've got a couple of tanks coming from the other side as well. Just let's see if we can win this fight though. They do seem to be all on green HP. It's a little bit of a battle of attrition, and we seem to be on the winning end at the moment because those light heavy tanks seem to be going down and their numbers reducing. We seem to be getting a decent trade, and those yellow tanks once again are starting to pull back, and I'm able to start building my economy on that extra ore patch, which is going to help me build more units. But now we can see that some paratroopers are coming in, so I'm going to need to build something to defend against them. I think what I'll go for is a flame tower. Getting that flame tower down, and it just destroys the infantry pretty quickly. And now we'll start expanding from this position here towards the right of the map, because what we want to do is we want to deny yellow of being able to get anywhere near that ore patch once again. So I'm just pausing the building of units there, just so I can build some structures, because my economy isn't doing so great. I'm just doing a bit of a power plant crawl, and that'll mean I'm going to be able to build some Tesla nearer the area. And you can see those tanks, the yellow tanks, starting to get reinforcements in and starting to group up. But I'm going to be getting some Tesla around this position, so if he does try to go in again, and now he does, he's going for that Tesla straight away, and we're managing to take out 3 tanks there quite quickly, and he's going for those power plants, and this is working quite well for me, because as he goes for structures, my tanks are able to take out quite a lot of his forces. And he's trying to get those ore trucks through once again, but it looks like I'm going to be able to destroy and finish off those remaining tanks. He's just not got enough there, and I've managed to push forwards a little bit further. I guess the big worry though is those red tanks, because red is the other player and there's only 3 of us left, and the longer we spend fighting, the more time red has to build up. I'm surprised actually he hasn't attacked with those red tanks. I'm supposing what he might be doing is waiting for one of us to get knocked out, but now I'm starting to push yellow further and further back, and we're going to start doing that power plant crawl once again and just get into that bridge area. And once I've got there, that's where I'm probably going to try and stop, because I don't want to like go to the right of the map, because I don't want to be in between the 2 players. What we can do though is we might be able to destroy that bridge as well, or just destroy anything that comes across that bridge, which is why I'm building some Tesla there right now. So hopefully be able to get a bit of a stronghold there. And now I'm going to be bringing my tanks back a little bit, and if he does try and get those ore trucks through, he's going to have to meet the Tesla head on. And now we're going back to the bottom of the map, because I can just see a large red army there. The big question is how big has Red's army gotten, because he's been left alone a long time, and now I'm just building up that Tesla defense just for when we go into battle. I'll need some help probably, and now those paratroopers being annoying once again to my ore trucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a Tesla in that field, and that's going to be able to defend against any more of those annoying paratroopers, and also destroy any yellow ore trucks that happen to go there. So yeah, just getting another Tesla down there, just for a little bit of protection, and now I can go back down and start dealing with the player in red. But you can see an ore truck there from yellow a bit further up, so I'm just going to get a Tesla, and that Tesla now starting to fire on the ore truck, and it looks like he's going to have a hard time getting any of those resources, because obviously you want to stop other players from mining the same resources as yourself. And now I can start focusing on this defensive position once again, and start getting some ore trucks out onto that ore patch, because I think Red's destroyed them. I think that's why he's parked his tanks there, probably just to destroy any ore trucks that start mining. But yeah, as soon as it gets close, he'll start. Yeah, you can just see those tanks start firing on my ore truck. but now I've got my own tanks in here, and I'm going to be getting some Tesla and moving it further down and getting range of those heavy tanks. So now I've got a Tesla there. Let's see if it's in range. It is, and it starts firing on them. Is that player going to react, or is he just going to let some of his tanks get destroyed for the time being? It seems like he might not have noticed, and he could be in a fight with Take You Down on the right side of the map. I don't quite know, so he might be preoccupied elsewhere. But we're starting to build more and more Tesla, and just going to be able to start pushing him back. And now he's reacted, and he's come up and destroyed those 2 Tesla. And he's trying to destroy the other Tesla in my base, but my tanks are now there, and it's going to be very hard for him to push through. And we've got like a couple of Tesla firing in the background. Now another Tesla goes up, so we've got 3 Tesla in the background, and they're going to do some major damage to his tanks, and it's looking very good for me at the moment. His tanks are sort of like trying to push further into my base, but as I push further into my base, what will happen is they'll be met with even more Tesla. So this fight is working out really well for myself, and it couldn't have really gone any better. So yeah, taking out a lot of red tanks there. I've still got a big tank army, and you can see now red is pushing back, but the red army is coming from the north of the map as well. He's got even more tanks there, and that's what happens when you leave a player to build up. He can get a really big army. So I'll have to see what I need to do at the top of the map. His red tanks just seem to be there at the moment, and I did see some movement from yellow, so I don't know if yellow's attacking his base. It looks like that's happening at the moment, and now those red tanks are retreating because me and yellow did let red get a little bit too strong. So we do need to work together, well, sort of like work together now, because red's the strongest player. So if we don't work together and kept on fighting, then red would just wipe us out, and we both want to win this, let's face it. So we're going to be trying to do as much damage to red as we can, but we can see another bunch of tanks there. So I'm going to be going in for the battle now. Let's see if I can just move my tanks a little bit round a little bit more and just get a good trade. I'm also trying to see if I can get that base crawl going in a little bit, but there are a lot of heavy tanks there. I'm just going to need to pull back for the time being because I don't want to lose all the tanks that I've got. Yeah, our other player, Take You Down, wanted me to fight red. I'm just saying I'm fighting at the other end of the base, which I am. Because, yeah, just so he knows I'm not just, like, camping. Because, yeah, it's sort of like a tactical decision at the moment. Sometimes you always, like, what happens when you have 3 players left is everyone always goes for the, well, everyone always should go for the strongest player that's left in terms of tank numbers, because obviously, if they don't and they fight it out with other players, then that 3rd player who has lots of tanks is going to be able to come in and do some major damage. But now we've got that Tesla coil firing on those tanks, and we're going to get another Tesla coil down pretty soon, and we're getting our tanks in now, and those Tesla coils are going to give us the advantage in terms of firepower. And just my tanks sort of like act as a little bit of fodder as well, because I have a lot more HP than those Tesla coils, and those Tesla coils doing some amazing damage now. And we can see that red is having to pull back, and I'm going to be able to get another ore truck on that ore patch, just to improve my economy even more. And now we're going to start pushing in, so we'll have to see what does red have and where is his base. So we can see the tanks there taking out a couple of those tanks quite easily. So a few of those going down. It looks like we're going to get a good trade, and that number of tanks is not going to be enough. And taking out those first line of tanks, and now we can go onto the structural buildings. So taking out some power plants, but we can see some Tesla, and that's going to be bad news for myself. We'll have to see how many we've got. We've got 3 Tesla there, and 3 Tesla is just too many. I'm going to need to definitely pull back here. And now I'm going to get some airfields, and you might wonder, why am I building airfields? Why am I going to go for like an MCV attack or something? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for 3, because I know that 3 MiGs can take out Tesla, and if I can take out that Tesla, it's going to give me sort of like put me in a good position to go in with tanks. So that's what these MiGs are going to be doing, and while those MiGs are building, I'm going to go for that ore truck, which is mining off our resources. So we'll get those charged up, and now we're going to go for Tesla. We can see that Tesla already on low HP. We're going to be able to get that one down, and that'll leave only 2 left. We can see at the moment that red does not have any air defences, so that puts us in a decent position.
Unit lost.
So yeah, just using those MiGs again. That's 1 Tesla down. We're going to get a 2nd Tesla down. Another good thing is even if he just replaces those Tesla, it's going to cost him resources, and those resources aren't going to be able to go into extra tanks, because it's always important, especially when you get to these late game stages, the economy starts to shrivel because all your patches get depleted, and gems as well. So what we're trying to do at the moment is just take out as many of those Tesla as we can, and then we can charge in with tanks. And you can see those 3 Tesla down now, and I'm going to go for the attack now with my tanks. We can see a couple of red tanks in the top of the map, but now let's see what we can do here. We're taking out that power plant, and we're going to go for that war factory now. There's a couple of tanks outside, and I'm just putting a Tesla at the top of the map just to destroy those 2 tanks that are close by. And you can see there's nothing Red can do. We're starting to be able to push his base further back and do some great damage here. So now taking out these ore refineries, which seem to be, well, sort of absent a little bit because there's not much ore around this patch. It's all been depleted earlier in the game, and getting an auto kill as well in there. And now I'm going to go further up the map. The question is, does he have more Tesla if we go further up? We're going to soon find out, and just doing a bit of an expansion at the top of the map as well. We can see those heavy tanks there, and as my heavy tanks go up, we can see indeed there is a Tesla there, now taking out another ore truck, so really getting some good economic damage done to Red there. And now I'm just having a look at the top middle of the map, and we can see some more red Tesla there. So he seems to have Tesla sprawled all over his base at all points on the map. Just holding my heavy tanks there at the moment. I don't want to dive in too far and lose all my forces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send my MiGs across just to take care of those Tesla. But yeah, we're just having a bit of a look now. That ore truck's going to have to be careful because it's not going to want to get too close, because that Tesla is just peeking out of the shadows and taking it out with my MiGs there. So that's another Tesla down. I'm also going to build some Tesla of my own in this sort of part of the base. Just for a little bit of defence, although it won't defend against that many tanks. But now we can see there's quite a lot of Tesla in this area in the middle of the base. So there's obviously, I think, stuff there he wants protecting. I would say that's an almost certainty. But now getting another Tesla down, and I think he's built another Tesla while I've been doing that. So really going for that lots of Tesla strategy. And now we can see some tanks coming in the top middle position, so that those Tesla not acting as too much of a deterrent. And now Red is going to push in with his mobile units, and those Tesla, they look like they're going to go down, and I could be in a little bit of trouble. I built a war factory just so I can build some units quite quickly and get a little bit of an army there, just to have a bit of a fight against Red. And this is a big fight here because that's a lot of resources in that top middle part. I guess there's not as many resources in this part here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tanks in because I know there's just Tesla there, and sometimes tanks are pretty strong. Those Tesla going down quite quickly. Getting another Tesla down, and there's 4 Tesla in there in total. We're being able to take them down, actually make that 5 Tesla. And it just seems like as we go through the base, there's just more and more. But now we're going to be taking out some construction yards. And it looks like Yellow is officially out of the game. So now it's just me versus Red, and it looks like it's going very well for me. Red's starting to sell some buildings, and I'm going to need to go for the attack on that top middle patch as well and get that patch back under my control. But yeah, just pushing into his base now, and it doesn't seem like there's much Red can do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that starting position, because that starting position just seems to be ridiculously well defended. And I'm going to go for this position at the top of the map, because that's where the resources are, and that's what I need to get control of, the resources. I control the resources, I control the game. And you can see some Tesla starting to fire on me there, but there's not many tanks in the area, and I'm going to be able to take them out pretty quickly. So yeah, those Tesla are going down, and we're going to be able to take out also those ore trucks, which are mining on that ore patch. So yeah, going for those ore trucks now, and also going for the ore refineries, so they have to do more long distance mining. And it looks like we've got complete control here. You can just see that swarm of tanks is just absolutely massive compared to what Red has available. So overall, a very eventful game. We first had Geski in the bottom left-hand corner, and that was just crucial. We were so close, we had to get that player out very, very quickly, and we won that fight, thankfully. And after that, I managed to get my extra MCVs, and that really helped us, I think, against Brown Puddle. He managed to do, he managed to take out some of my construction yards, so I was going to need those extra MCVs. We managed to build some Tesla, and we managed to hold him on. And that was just important because, of course, Brown Puddle was in the middle. He was against other players as well, because other players would be attacking him because they'd know that he'd have the gems to utilise. And that just worked in our favour, and we were able to take out Brown Puddle, although our base did receive quite a bit of damage, so it took a lot of repairing. And then we had a bit of a fight with Yellow over the top middle of the map, and I did manage to get control of that area and get control of those resources in the end. So that worked out quite well for myself. And then there was, of course, Red, who'd been left a long time in the game and had a really big army, but I'm pretty sure that fight we had at the south of the map, it didn't work in Red's favour at all. He charged into my tanks, and there was also a lot of Tesla there, and he did lose a lot of units. So in this free-for-all, we managed to have a big fight with every player, and that's quite unusual because usually there's players that you don't have a little bit of a battle with, but we had a bit of a battle with everyone and managed to come out on top. So that was quite a fun game, and a lot of different things going on with the MiGs as well, taking out those Tesla. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.